Shalom, this is Shah Bastrella, a Life in Camp, located in Israel, Florida. First and foremost, I praise, honor, and glory to the Father and the Son and the perpetuity return. Call, Alam La, Yahweh Bashim Ashai, Bashim, Habakak, Kodash Mouth. This is going to be a quick little lesson. Sorry. Double honor to the elders and apostles of GMS, the Mastermind as well, Ahara Masharala, peace, best to 1/3, and salutation of hopeful elect. Slakia. Ultimately, this is going to be a little lesson, a quick little lesson, just going on how basically the 2/3 of our people have to have something in their way, in their way now and then in their way then, because that's the purpose of the wicked. They're supposed to be there, they're supposed to be in the way, um, because they're the wicked. They were created for that reason. The 1/3 out of our nation supposed to be transformed and saved, get salvation, and 104,000 elect men. But other than that, everything else is fodder basically. They're antagonists. They're antagonists ultimately. They are an important part of the story, but on the left hand side, because they're not doing the works of the Lord. They're doing the works of Esau or themselves or Baal or whatever. So nonetheless, is basically 2/3 that are going to try to flee. They're gonna try to flee from persecution. But if they're not trying to flee from persecution through the Most High Yahweh Bashmal Shah, then that's going to save them. They might think the MOTB going to save them. Once that come out, like a lot of homes people might get it as soon as they hear it. Free food and get 1,000 credits when I sign up. They're gonna be straight with it. Same with Jake, man. They don't want to lose their status. They don't want to lose their money. But with the new monetary digital currency, everyone's gonna be on the same playing field. Because Esau gonna offer, points and everything, and just like how you do now with his any what's it called? Any businesses right now, you get points for doing this and doing that. But nonetheless, it's gonna be more intricate, a little more, because Esau wicked, he king of wickedness. But I'm gonna go get straight to it. This is Amos chapter 5. I'm gonna start at verse 18, man, because I'm gonna keep going. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness. Slacky and not light. Just last week, I want to do a lesson on it, but it was talked about so much. I'm like, yeah, that's just a easy thing to know. But Marvin Sapp, he said lock them doors, give him $40,000. What you call it? The congregation give him 20, the pastor give him 100. So they basically he basically does not honestly fear the Most High Yahweh Bashim Ashai. No, nor do any of those people in there. Nor none of the pastors. They and yeah, none of the pastors, because they gonna go back the same the next week. They gonna go back 2 days from now, and do the same thing. And Marvin Sapp, nobody in there fear the Most High Yahweh Bashim Shai. So they don't really want the day of the Lord, because what it is to them. Most of them think they save anyway, so they think they don't think the Messiah is coming anymore. Some do, some don't. But yeah, they don't really even care about that. So it says verse 19, as if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him. Once 2/3 are able to get away from like whatever they're facing, man, they gonna meet something else. They're gonna meet boom, dollar glass. Or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall and a serpent bit him. You know, for us, that's an uplifting for a man, woman, and child that believe in the Lord Yahweh Shemashai. Us getting out of this system is the dollar collapsing. But for them, the dollar collapsing is not what they want. You know, and of course, the Lord coming back as well, because the day of the Lord is darkness, not light. They don't want Yahweh to come back. You know, so everything that they're going to try to fix, that they are going to try to fix for themselves, then they're going to lead them deeper and deeper into a pit, man. You know, he that diggeth the pit fall therein, man. It's like paraphrasing. It says, verse 20, shine out the day of the Lord be darkness and not light, even very dark and no brightness in it. Yeah, ain't gonna be ain't gonna be no of course the marrying partying like in the days of Noah. It's gonna be like when they for that well shoot it could be when the dog class because they gonna be trying to have MOTB parties or something like that. I don't know, but nonetheless, as in the day of Noah, man, they gonna be drinking and marrying. You know, they ain't the Lord coming back for kumbaya and hugs, and you know, flowers and rainbows. Nah, that rainbow y'all despise, which is that the old covenant, man. They didn't follow the law, such commandments of the Most High Yahweh my shot to the best of their ability. So they gonna have to get something for that. You know, the Lord curses are not done away with. They just are coming when He come, man. So he gonna do some sifting, some sieving. You know. It says in verse 21, I hate and despise your feast days. I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. You know, it says, though ye offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them, neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts. Nonetheless, there's nothing these two-thirds can do to please the Lord other than to turn back. If you turn back, yeah. But are people keeping first Sundays and Easter and whatever's gonna come up and they use they try to call on the Lord, but of course they're using the wrong name. They use Jeebus. But yeah, the Lord coming back, and He not finna meet you as a man. You know? But that's ultimately the the will of the Most High, Yahweh Shai, and the purpose of the wicked. You know, this is Psalm chapter 7. I'm gonna start at verse 9. Oh, yeah, I'll let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end, but establish the just. For the righteous, Yahweh trieth the hearts and reins. My defense is of Yahweh, which saveth the upright in heart. Yahweh judges the righteous, and Yahweh is angry with the wicked every day. You know, so come, man. The Most High Yahweh is wicked with these heathens, with Esau, man. Ultimately, wicked with 2/3, man. That's off. It's going off that has a place of repentance, but it's not seeking Yahweh by Shema Shai. You know. Um, they're gonna be returned. They gonna come back through the seed and everything. But right now, what they need to do is get out all them. You know, the Lord need to come back down to see the Santerias and people that it's called that still celebrate pyramid. You know, anything across the globe. Not not in America and everything. And those got to be sifted out too, man. America's the focal point. But after this place is done and the rest of the world is utterly uninhabitable, men of the Lord, angels still got to do their work, Um, it says, "Oh, let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end, but establish the just. For the righteous, Yahweh tried the hearts and reins." So, come man, he tried the one that truly believe, ultimately one that truly believe that they're gonna take it, man. They gonna take it as a strike, But it's ultimately an affliction that makes them better and stronger, like a chastisement, you know. And it says, "My defenses of Yahweh, we save the upright heart." So come, man. Anyone that's upright heart, man, you gotta follow Yahweh by Shema Shai, and because the Lord's anger with Esau and 2/3 and his heathens, not with the ones that believe in him. But you might well think about it like that, so you can keep loving them, know how to love the Lord more and more. You know, because it's what it's about. You know, see how much you love the Lord. This is Proverbs chapter 16 in verse 4. It says, the Lord hath made all things for himself. Yeah, even the wicked for the day of evil. So come, man. That's in the scriptures, man. The wicked were created for a reason. They created for the exact reason to be destroyed, man. They were created to be vessels fitted for smashing. You know, there's nothing good out of them, honestly. But one thing good about them is that they cause the ones that believe in Yahweh from outside to be weary. You know, to give them a fight. But also it causes it's just evidence that they're there, and it makes everybody so much angrier. You know, in the people. You know, they depressed and everything, anxious, all that stuff. You know, but they still stuck in the society. But ultimately, you're gonna get sedition. You know, because you got Trump doing tariffs. Canada is gonna lead to more tariffs, man. It's gonna lead to more countries putting tariffs on their stuff. You know, taxing their stuff, and making everything go up. That's what the Lord. It's like it. That's what is gonna cause these many of people in these other countries to rise up against kings and their presidents and everything. You know, why is that food so high? Well, because the Lord wanted to, man. Thus said the Lord, man. It's going to happen, man. These nations going to start hating America. They're not going to want to give their food out, man. These other countries going to get it too. By the way, you know. So, but America is going to get 200 million ICBMs, 200 million intercontinental ballistic missiles. That's going to be the end all, be all right there. That's like a fire, boom, done. You know. But I'm going to just read it one more time. Proverbs chapter 16, verse 4. The Lord hath made all the things for himself, yet even the wicked for the day of evil. This is Isaiah chapter 47, verse 3. It says, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yet thy shame shall be seen. This ultimately going for Esau. But this last part, this is for everyone that's against Yahweh Shai. It says, I will take vengeance and I will not meet thee as a man. You know, for Esau, his skirt is gonna be uncovered. Well, it doesn't about Jake, that they're wicked, and they basically have to get met by a bear and a snake because they're not gonna do right by themselves. They're gonna really believe in their mind that they can make out this horrible end for themselves, but the Lord gonna put in their illusions, but it's not gonna be the actual um that's not gonna be the actual end for them. So it says, I will take vengeance and I will not meet thee as a man. As for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts, is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Nonetheless, Yahushua, Yahweh Bashim ultimately Yahushua came as a Redeemer and a healer 2,000 years ago, and our people did not accept him. Ultimately, he's not coming as a man no more. He's coming as Isaiah, demon-like power, the Lord of hosts, the Lord of armies, the Lord, the Lord, yeah, King of Terror. There we go, King of Terror. That is Isaiah chapter 66. I'm gonna start at verse 4. It says, I will choose their delusions, I will bring their fears upon them, because when I called, none did answer. When I spake, they did not hear, but they did evil before mine eyes. I chose that in which and chose that which I delighted not. So man, these two of the people have a choice right now, honestly, a good big choice that is in front of us, man. You see pastors lying to you in front of your face. They want you for your money, and like these other churches, they were joking about it, but they doing the same thing. They just not gonna do what he did. They probably gonna do it eventually though. Ultimately, these schools don't want your kids to be smarter. They want them to be workers, You know, um, the industry is all satanic and everything, entertainment, everything, sports. You know, um, unless everything in society has to come to it, an end. The Lord wants that. The Lord wants this place to be destroyed. Our people do not want it though. But for that, all the terrorists, because it's easy to scare and it makes one that doesn't believe in the Most High Yahweh Shai fearful. But in something carnal, of course, like a bear or something, or like a snake, or like a whatever they think of, man, because they're wicked and they're carnal. They only think about fleshy stuff. They don't think about a higher power. They don't think about their salvation. You know, so I would choose their delusions and I will bring their fears upon them, because when I called them to answer, when I spake, they did not hear, but they did evil before mine eyes, so that in which I delighted not. So for that reason, the Lord's going to have to destroy them, the wicked, because they try to they that I was gonna be free, but nah, that bear met him, that bear met him and the serpent met him, man. They gonna get both a slobber knocker, man, you know. But yeah, that was a little lesson right there, and yeah, I thought that was a edifying little lesson. With that, I want to tell Shalom.